Hello and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Night Undressed. I am Lou, your host, and I am joined by maybe the coolest group of folks that I have had a chance to sit down with. I have Fernando, I have Sofia, I have Alena, I have Jamie, I have Lauren, I have Thomas, a new member of our show, and the man of the hour. The Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, made of solid steel and sex appeal, makes the men mad and the women squeal. One Mr. Ivo Ivanov.
All right, wow. Wow, that was a great intro. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Oh my God, how do you remember this? And you, of course, the Maharaja of Municipal Fidelity, Louis Walton, whatever that means.
That's the alter ego when we're on Transatlantic Perspective.
Yes.
And what is your alter ego, sir?
I am usually introduced as the Lord and the most generous donor of gently used incompetence. And Fernando here is the Sultan.
The Sultan.
The Sultan of salacious recognizance. None of those make sense other than mine, you know. Yeah. What is municipal fidelity?
I don't know, but I love the sound of it. I might put that on my work email from this point on.
Just a little intro to what else gets.
Oh, man.
All right, so we're going to start with, I think, an easy, like most of the questions that I have this week are kind of fall themed. So we're going to start with, it's actually starting to feel like fall. Like at least some days we're starting to feel like fall. So I wanted to ask if there is a fall dish that people around the table have been waiting to eat or waiting to cook or ask to have cooked. And so Lauren's doing this little happy dance right now. So,
no pumpkin spice. Please don't mention pumpkin spice.
Oh, no, fuck
I
that
hate
shit.
pumpkin spice.
Fuck that shit. I hate pumpkin spice.
All right, what's your...
I'm white. I'm not that white. Mine is pecan pie. Because I make it all from scratch.
Uh-huh.
I make the crust from scratch. It's my great-grandma's recipe, the one that I am actually named after. My middle name is Snow, which comes from my great-grandma.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that.
That's why,
a cool
if you're
name.
wondering why I'm born in July and my middle name is Snow, that is why. She was born in December.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool.
My great grandma actually hated her middle name, and then she found out that was my middle name, and she was like, okay.
Was it Jon Snow on Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I love that character. That was my favorite thing.
I had it first. I had the name first.
I like it.
Very good.
So pecan pie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have my great grandma's recipe. I do everything from scratch, including the crust, and it's literally my favorite thing ever. In fact, one time wasn't even my fault. It was, we did not have we did not have both kinds of corn syrup because I used light and dark corn syrup.
Mm-hmm.
I only had light. So I had to use light, and then it ended up not setting properly.
Okay, that's... Yeah,
and it was just liquid, and I cried.
It's devastating.
Aggressively, because I was like, this is my thing.
Why is it the fall, though? Can you not make pecan pie in the summer or spring? Or is it because it's heavy, it's supposed to be colder outside?
I can
syrupy?
make it. I can make it anytime I want. I just associate it
With
fall
fall.
because it's like the cinnamon
Excellent.
and like all the spices that are in it just feel very fall to me. And honestly, I think pecan pie can kick the shit out of pumpkin pie any fucking day.
How dare you?
Pumpkin pie sucks. Okay.
Dare you?
No.
Right.
I hate pumpkin anything.
Wow. All right, so Alena, I know you're one of those vegetarians. So,
Yes, in a sense.
Innocent.
so do you have a fall-themed food that you are that makes you visualize fall, or when you think of fall, you get this like particular dish in mind?
I mean, obviously like apple pie and pumpkin pies, but something I think about with fall that really has nothing to do with foods is something that my old roommate used to do. She and I are close friends, and she did this thing that was like, and she only did it in the fall, and it was so pleasant. And it wasn't a food related thing, but it felt like food, where she would like boil a bunch of water, and she would only do this in the fall, and she would put cinnamon sticks.
Simmer pot.
Yeah.
Simmer pot.
It was so great. She'd put like cinnamon sticks and different spices and stuff, inside a boiling pot of water. And every time you walked into the house, like our apartment, the whole apartment, every part of it smelled like what fall foods smell like. Like we didn't have foods, but like the whole place, like, I mean, we had foods, but like the whole place smelled like how you imagine fall would smell. I thought she was absolutely like the best roommate in the world when she would do this. I was like, it is so cool.
And I have to say, so I'm gonna just let everybody know that like I once upon a time, like a million years ago, I used to tutor Alena in math, and so Alena was like, I have to do something for you. I'm going to make you a pie. This was maybe like 10 years ago. And then like she made me a pie. She made me an apple pie. It was awesome. It's like apple pie is my favorite like dessert food. So that was awesome. Thank you so very much, Alena.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she recently made one for you.
Yeah, that was it. Miss Jamie, how about you? Do you have a fall favorite?
I do. I like brown boiled beans.
Oh,
So
comfort
cumin
food.
Yeah.
And jalapeno and salt and pepper.
We go. Oh,
And
to the Tropicana.
margaritas with salt and pepper on the rim. No,
Salt.
salt on the rim and lime.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love.
I'm sorry.
I love beans too. It puts
And
gas in my car.
And a cabana boy in a Speedo bending over picking things up off the floor.
By the way, this is the Cabana Boy right here. So yes.
And I drop a lot of things on the floor.
And then she's just like,
too much.
Evo, pick that up for me. Pick that up for me.
And
Yes.
wear tight shorts if possible. Yeah.
All right. Yes, you introduced me to those the beans at Tropicana here in town.
Tropicana. They have
Yeah.
the best boiled beans at
Boiled
Tropicana.
beans.
Yeah.
Boiled beans.
All right. Sophia.
Well, I love pumpkin everything, I fear.
Right.
So the fall is a little bit of a dangerous time for me and my wallet. So I'm not allowed to set foot in Trader Joe's during this time period. So I've been restraining. But I really like getting the pumpkin bread from the Merc.
Ooh.
So good. I get that all the time. I also every fall, like at my like comfort movie, like for the fall is Kiki's Delivery Service. And every time I rewatch it, like I want to try that stupid herring pie so
No, you don't.
bad.
No, you don't.
Like I know it, I would not like how it tastes, but it looks so yummy and so warm.
One of my YouTubers did a video where he made that. So
What was the outcome of making that? Was it as disgusting as it seems?
I don't remember. It was
Oh,
a
okay.
long time ago.
Gotcha. Mr. LaForte, how you doing?
Good.
So I'm just gonna start by saying coffee is not allowed as your fall dish.
Oh,
So
okay.
you got to pick a food.
I thought I would say hot coffee.
Yeah, no. See, I'm just,
So on the transition from, yeah, unfortunately, like I don't, I don't have any remark. I like, all the pies. I enjoy a lot of food that's tradition. It just pops like at this time of the year, but really nothing remarkable to to myself that I really care like to say anything.
Gotcha. So San Paulo, does that have like 4 discernible seasons?
Not really.
Gotcha.
So there is not. I'll not be surprised if nowadays they're trying to push this crap. After Starbucks, maybe they have a pumpkin spice thing, but it's never a thing.
Gotcha. That's fair. All right, Mr. Thomas, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. So before you answer the question, let's just tell everybody, because you guys have already told us, how do you know Mr. Ivanov here?
So Evo was my soccer coach in high school at Bishop Seabury. We had a team my sophomore through senior year, and that was the most competitive soccer that I've played in my life. And we had a lot of fun, really good guys and good team and good coach. So we stayed connected and have run into each other a few different times.
Good deal. Are you a Lawrence guy?
I am, yeah. I grew up
Gotcha,
here and
gotcha.
still live here at the moment.
Yeah, Thomas is one of these guys that is blessed with athleticism and fast twitch muscle fibers, and he's good at everything, like all kinds of sports. But it's not just his athleticism. He's very analytical when he plays sports. So you can see his processor in action when playing basketball, soccer, whatever. He's good at everything. Just very intelligent, very smart player, and just a force. So he was the leader of the team because he's this guy that leads by example. and everybody follows him. Just natural born leader. And then we would do this. We did these exercises in the summer to prepare fitness-wise for the grueling season. We would do insanity, plyometric type of stuff, and the only person that could finish this exercise was Thomas. His aerobic capacity is off the charts, and I just met him here in the bar. And it was just like a spurt of the moment. Like, let's go. Let's do the podcast.
That's awesome. That's
So it's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, sir.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Evo, for saying that.
Yeah. So, what's your fall favorite?
One of my fall favorites is focused around Thanksgiving, but also just the fall season. It's mulled wine, not mulled like MOLD, but mulled like the mulling process, like steeping. Yeah. And it's kind of, I think it is better than, a hot apple cider or a hot toddy. But you take a fruity dark red wine. It doesn't need to be expensive or anything, and then pour it into a pot on the stove and just start to heat it up, and then throw in some sliced oranges, and then cardamom pods, star anise, cloves, cinnamon sticks, and a few different spices, and just let it cook, kind of like what Alena was saying about the simmer pot. Yeah, and it smells up the whole house.
It does, yeah.
And then you just, once it starts to steam a little bit, and then it's ready to roll, and you can just stay on there like a candle all day. And you can just grab a ladle and a little cup, and you can make it look really pretty if you want to throw one of the cinnamon sticks or orange slices in or whatever. But it tastes so much like fall. It tastes the way that fall candles wish they smelled.
Right. I agree.
Man,
100%.
see what I'm saying? He can paint the picture.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I could almost feel like the crackly leaves outside. It was just beautiful.
I
Wow.
love the smell of mulled wine. I, however, am allergic to red wine.
That's
So,
again devastating.
You might actually try different wines from different countries. Like the American wines have nitrates in them, and so I know a lot of people that can't drink American wines, but you give them something from Australia.
Less tannins.
Yeah, and they can
Less sugar.
get down with it. So
yeah, it's weird because I can drink white wine just fine,
Yeah.
but red wine, I will immediately, my face will immediately turn red. It's really
sort of like the girl from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
except that's
All
He
right.
turned purple.
Yes. Mr. Ivanov.
Well, given that I only eat French fries and chocolate, I don't really. It's a miracle I'm still alive after all these years of eating crap. I don't eat meat, but every once in a while I would eat shrimp. And Neil Rasmussen, our friend, does around Halloween. He makes this seafood stew with shrimp, and it is freaking delish. And that's a thing that he always does around Halloween. Yeah. So I associate it with Halloween. As you know, Neil Rasmussen is nuts when it comes to cooking, and to him, he's such a connoisseur. He can really turn it into a masterpiece. So ingredients are, he uses the right ingredients and spices and does a spectacular job. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, which is weird because I don't really look forward food usually.
To food, yeah.
Like, how about you, buddy? You didn't say anything.
So for me, I grew up, we didn't have a lot of sweets. My mom was like a type 1 diabetic since she was 13. So by the time she had me, sweets were just not a part of reality. So I'm not a big dessert person, with the exception of apple pie. So again, thank you, Alena. But I have always eaten meat, and my best buddy Evo and Alena are vegetarians, so they don't have my affinity for it. But I love a good hearty beef stew. And so for me, when I think about fall, specifically, I think about Jamie's beef stew because it is awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is. If I'm not going to eat Mom's stew, it's going to be yours, Jamie.
So I understand this because beef stew is definitely not a summer food in July.
No.
Excellent.
So yeah, I don't actually. I mean, with the exception of like the summer weight that I've put on right now, I generally speaking don't eat a lot of sweets, or like I just ate a basket of fries. I typically don't do that, but I'm doing it right now because I'm giving myself a break. But yeah, so those things I don't really miss. What I want when I want to like treat myself is protein. So yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys for that one. Okay, next question, kind of related to creepy stuff. So
Yeah, because it's October.
it is October, so I want to know, and I'm just going to give you guys an example for me. I put one on the paper, but that was kind of the false example. I went to a old tent revival when I was like 7 years old, and I had not been to one, and this was like deep in the South in like Mississippi, the part of Mississippi that we went to, and it was an evening revival. And so we go into this thing, and like I know now that what I was looking at was likely because I was young, like I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, but it was terrifying. It was absolutely horrifying. Like essentially you had this preacher up on the stage, and he would start to dance and sing and like shout, and people would get the Holy Ghost, and so they would literally start screaming and wailing and waving their hands and like falling to the floor and like just like literally flopping on the floor. And I'm a 3-year-old kid who's never seen anything like this before, and all of a sudden, and it's dark, like there's no lights in this building, so the later it gets, the darker it gets. And so their faces, I'm looking at these shadowy faces that seem to be getting like elongated and grotesque, and it was absolutely terrifying. But it's one of my favorite memories of all time. So I will remember it quite honestly for the rest of my life. And when I think about like hellscapes, it is what I like remember. But it was like it was a church experience. It was this weird thing. Anyway, so I wanted to know, as we get closer and closer to Halloween, have any of you guys experienced something that you immediately thought was like supernatural, and then you realize, oh, I'm being an idiot? So yeah, go ahead.
This one's just kind of funny.
Okay.
So like I was over at my cousin's for Halloween because that was what I did for years. Because my cousin, I lived in Kansas City. I was not in a good trick-or-treating area. My cousins lived in Olathe. So we went there. And one night I was staying over because it was like one of those beautiful times when Halloween was on a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was staying over at her house, and we were watching a movie, and it was like scary, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. And all of a sudden I kept hearing noises from upstairs, and it scared the crap out of me because we were the only two that were still awake.
Sorry, when you said that, it reminded me of something even more creepy that was completely normal. But go ahead.
And we were the only two that were still awake, except for my aunt, who was literally in the kitchen, and I knew where she was.
Right.
So I like freaked out, and my aunt was like, "Hey, can you go check on your on Dalton," which is my younger cousin. And I was like, "Okay," and I went upstairs, still hearing noises. And then all of a sudden the noises feel very concentrated on my cousin's room. And I got so freaked out. I'm like 5, by the way. Just because this is going to be important later. My cousin is 3. My younger cousin is 3 at this time. And I go to check on him. I knock. There's nothing. I open the door. My cousin jumps out from behind the door. And I punch him in the nose.
Oh my gosh, like reflexively?
That's a great story.
That is amazing. I can see that.
Outstanding.
And I broke his nose.
Oh,
that was a good
at 3
punch.
years old, he was 3.
He was 3, I was 5.
PTSD continues to this day, I'm sure.
I was just like-
you can't keep,
Like,
you
immediately.
don't recover from that.
Right.
I think it was dark, it was Halloween, and I just, like, we were
Ouch.
literally watching a scary movie.
It's a reflex. Yeah.
So I am, like, people who are like, "Oh, I know you," like, people think I'm probably a flight. I am a fight. I will hit things. It's the reason I don't go to haunted houses. I will throw hands. Like, I will Immediately.
We have all taken note. We're not going to fuck with Lauren.
Don't scare me. I will hit you.
Yes.
And like then my aunt had to rush my little cousin to the emergency room. I didn't get in trouble because like he fully admitted.
Well, you were 5.
Yeah, but he also fully admitted that he had jumped out from behind the door to scare me.
I think I could probably still recreate a lawsuit for this. It's not too bad. It's not too
Louis
bad.
is a lawyer, by the way. Practical jokes, note to self, never against Lauren.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't do it. I will hit.
You will
It
punch
wa-
me
again.
in the
It
nose
was
or kick me
like
in
it
the
was
nuts.
like such a culmination of all of these things, and plus like just undiagnosed autism making things a million times worse.
Right.
So I was like, God, like I was mentally like, I had no control over what my body did in that moment. I was terrified that there was literal ghosts happening in this
Adrenaline.
house
Gotcha.
at the time, and it was just my cousin being a little idiot. So yeah.
All right. Anybody want to volunteer before I pick on somebody? I'm going to pick on Sofia. Do you have? I mean, we can discount all of the seances and all of the
I have one. Well, okay, like the only experiences I can think of for this aren't me thinking that something supernatural necessarily was happening, but thinking like that I was like gonna die and just like resigning myself to it without like doing anything. Like, well, okay, the one that I immediately thought of was last year when I was on campus, like sitting outside Wesco waiting for my bus. And there was a game happening, like a big game. So they were flying these jets.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was so low to the ground. It was the loudest I've ever heard a jet. Like I legitimately thought we were like getting bombed or something. Like it was and like someone like screamed, like people like started ducking because it was so loud and it came out of nowhere and like people didn't know that it was happening.
You were like in South by Southwest when
Right.
Yeah, like I was so
Gregory Peck was running away from the.
I was so terrified that like I was about to be killed like in Wesco. I was like, cool. Like this can't be where I die.
But your obituary would have been so cool.
How so?
Killed by Wesco
By
a
Wesco?
jet.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
By a fighter jet.
It was pretty scary, and then it was done, and I was like, oh, okay, that was fine. And then it happened continuously the next like couple days, and like by that point, everyone knew the drill. But
Yeah, you could have been the new Wesco Ghost.
I could have.
I like the Wesco Ghost. That's like a title of a
Yeah.
book.
Right.
The Wesco Ghost.
Alena, I thought it looked like you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I have one.
All right.
Pretty much with the supernatural thing, I pretty much every time I think I see a ghost, because I don't believe in ghosts, but I think I see ghosts often, and so pretty much every time I think I see a ghost, I'm like immediately like, oh, I'm thinking that there's something supernatural that's not real, where I'm like, oh, like there's shadow, like at night when there's lights are off, there's like shadows that are moving around, and the shadows are from like when you're looking at the, like I always like immediately logically synthesize it, that the shadows look like they're moving around because you can see kind of like the dust motes
Right.
as they're moving through the light. But if you like if you just like look at it as shadows moving around, you're like, oh no, it looks like there's like ghosts moving around.
I have 100% had to like take a coat off of a chair or something because it's freaking me the F out. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
It's like something that looks like like you have like clothes hanging on things. It looks like a person.
Yeah.
Or like if you wake up, if you get like sleep paralysis, you can like wake up and be kind of like paralyzed and still be kind of like dreaming. And you might like see a figure in the room, but it's like part of like, it's like dreaming while being awake. So like every time I think I see a ghost, I'm like, I'm like, that's absolutely, there's no such thing. Like I've probably thought it like 8 or 9 times that I'd seen a ghost and was like, that's absolutely impossible, because I don't believe that conscious energy like stays in that manner.
Gotcha.
So I'm always like, but some people do believe in ghosts and they have
Yeah,
no.
if you look carefully, you recognize the silhouette of your father looking for his bourbon. It's most like
Yes, and it's just you. It's just you. It's just you messing with me.
I can't believe you didn't bring up the baby squirrel that you found live
Oh,
baby
but that
squirrel.
wasn't supernatural. That was a real baby squirrel.
But
in
what
my
did you
bed.
immediately think that was a squirrel, or did you think that was a ghost?
No, I thought that somebody was
She got attacked by a squirrel while
a
sleeping.
squirrel came. It ran up my leg
Googly moogly.
while I was
Oh my
sleeping
God.
in bed,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
think
a
it
squirrel
thought I was its
infestation.
mother
No.
or something because it
Yeah.
tried to snuggle with me, but I was like afraid of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute, but also
Yeah.
no.
It was delicious later.
Oh my God, no.
Let's see. Thomas, do you have anything that this question evokes? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anytime that I experience something that feels like my initial thought is to think that it was something supernatural, I immediately go into, okay, well, what actually was it? And I try and overanalyze. I work as an engineer, and so like our whole job is when something happens that is not expected, you have to figure out exactly what caused it.
Gotcha.
And look into it. But I definitely have had moments where I've either been in a place or like something has occurred that feels, especially with being in certain places, it just feels like, I don't know, you walk through somewhere or into somewhere and it feels the air is heavier or it's eerie. There's like a density to it that you can't really describe, and it's just there. And then my one of my uncles is pagan and totally is fully into the spirits of different things, and like wholeheartedly believes in all of the different like Wiccan spirits of nature, and different parts of nature all have different spirits that command them. And so we see him every year at Thanksgiving. He comes, and so he'll talk about it occasionally, and I, as a child, was really interested and still am, because it's so different from anything that I've ever been exposed to. And so having someone within your family, you know, that I'm related to believes that maybe, you know, at some point later in life I'll be more exposed to something that will make me think differently. But as of now, I can't think of any specific experiences that I've had.
Gotcha.
Like for me, I was just randomly thinking about this. It was like a thing that you don't know what's going on, so you just create this very random thing in your mind for what it is. And for some reason, for me, and this is 100% because of my childhood, because this was one of my favorite movies as a kid, even though it terrified the shit out of me. One of my favorite movies as a kid was The Secret of Nim.
Yep.
So I literally, every single time electricity flickered, my brain went, oh, the rats of Nim are stealing our electricity again. And I still think that every time lights flicker, literally anywhere. And like, so like that's, it's just like, you assign the most like stupid, improbable things, literally based on nothing. So
I got to tell this story because Lauren, I don't know what it was that you said that triggered this, but
me with ADHD all the time.
many moons ago, I was staying at Evo and Jamie's house, and Emil was a little boy, and so Emil had tons and tons of animatronic dolls. So like a little bear, and you push the button on the base, and the bear dances, right? And Emil had one in the living room that would say, in a very high voice, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you..." Somehow Jamie and Evo were both gone. I think maybe Jamie was going to pick Evo up from the airport, because Evo goes back home every year. And I'm walking through the house, and apparently the batteries were low, because this thing says, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star."
Oh my fucking god, that's awful. In the box, like packed in the box. Oh
no, this was on the mantle at your place on Glenview. It was like the single most
that's
hilarious and terrifying thing
That's
that has
horrible.
literally ever happened. So yeah.
You have the most potentially haunted, unhaunted.
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus.
I hate when batteries run out and like they get like lower in pitch. It's
Twinkle,
so great.
twinkle. Yeah, it was not okay.
I hate
It was
it.
not okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Miss Jamie, what about you?
Well, we all experience this. So Evo and Lewis and I take a nightly walk, and we often take it late at night, 11 at night, 11:30 at night, and the neighborhood's often dark, and there's not any cars when we walk, and there's no street lights,
start of a
and our
horror
neighbors
film.
turn off their porch lights, and we were walking, and there's nobody else walking late at night.
That was 2 weeks ago.
either.
This
2
is
weeks
how
ago.
you get killed.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman about a block away, walking towards us.
Walking straight towards us,
straight
briskly.
towards us. And we're like, well, that's odd because there's never anybody walking towards us. And he was quite stocky. And the closer he got, he had like a striped muscle shirt on and shorts on, brown shorts that went down into these like 1950s boots, if you will, laced up boots halfway up his calves.
Like an old style boxer?
Literally, very much like an old
like a strong man at the circus.
Like a strong man at a circus.
Yeah, strong man at the circus.
And he was carrying 2 maybe 20-pound dumbbells.
Oh my God! Like a cartoon.
Like a cartoon.
Straight walking towards us.
Straight at us. And I'm like, and a few days before, a woman had been attacked at the park by someone with a dumbbell. And I'm like, maybe there's like a series of dumbbell attackers and we're going to die.
Yeah. There were 3 of us, thank God.
And there's 3 of us, and maybe we all decided to outreach and be nice and say hi, to which the dumbbell strongman walked by us and said nothing.
He just
focused on his task.
He was walking
Strong
pumping his biceps.
walked just straight by us.
And we've never seen him again.
Never seen him since.
I am so
He's a
convinced
ghost
you
to
guys
the
saw
dumbbell,
him.
the strong man of
He was
Lauren.
delivering dumbbells to the dumbbell attacker.
A dumbbell, 1920 strong man on
That
Boulder
was not a
Street.
real person. You saw a ghost.
3 people corroborating a ghost.
Yeah, we
that
saw
is a
him. We
ghost.
saw him.
Strong.
And we tried to talk
I
to him.
refuse to believe that was a
Saw
real
him,
person.
tried to talk to him, and he
And
literally
he
looked at us
He looked at
and
us,
just kept.
kept walking.
Yeah, it was the
It'd be
weirdest
crazy
shit.
if you walked right into him and he dissipated.
Yeah.
Like,
Dumbbell, strong man.
And I would like everybody to notice that this didn't even top my list of weird things that has happened at Eva and Jamie's house.
yo. Yeah.
We need to make a series, like
Right.
make one episode.
Yeah,
just
well,
about
Louis
that.
has seen a ghost in our house several times.
Yeah.
We have 2 dead people in the house, the ashes of 2 friends that have passed, and we keep the ashes there, which we don't know what to do with them really. And so maybe, I don't know what Louis has seen. But my story was on a walk again with the dog, but I was alone. And this was a UFO experience, which is like, I am kind of like Thomas. I like the scientific method. I like to dissect events scientifically and approach them rationally. And so, but one time I was walking with the dog, and I was one of the first people anywhere that saw the fucking Starlink. And have you seen it?
Yeah.
Because it's freaking exactly like a UFO.
It looks
Absolutely.
The
so cool.
string of lights that
Moving
come
together.
in low orbit, and you're like, okay, that's nothing I've ever seen. That's not an airplane. That's not many airplanes. It's got to be a UFO. So I rushed back with the dog home, and we started Googling it with Jamie, and we found out it's Starlink. But that was truly freaky.
It was early,
Yeah.
and we hadn't seen.
it's happening.
We hadn't seen any.
Yeah,
They're here.
they are here for sure. Yeah.
The batteries thing reminded me of I had a Barney doll that was kind of like a Teddy Ruxpin when I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
No.
So
I love you.
I hate
You
creepy dolls.
love
I hate
me.
creepy dolls
So-
so much.
you could like touch its paw and it would sing to you and it would tell you
my
stories
God.
and it would tell you that it loved you.
There's a-
And
Creepy
something
dolls. Ugh.
I was only 4 or 5, but like something within it broke, like the batteries on that one thing on the mantle. And it just, I was only 4 or 5, so it just started uncontrollably telling me that it loved me, whether or not I touched its paw. And it would go on and on and on and on all night. And it would like sing songs to me and go on. And I was only 4 or 5, so I thought that the robot toy had somehow come alive.
Oh, that's when I know about. Yes.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
the toys
Like,
come to
if you
life.
think about the way Barney is,
It's worse than an actual
In-
ghost. Yeah.
in
I know.
canon,
I know.
in canon, Barney is a stuffed toy that becomes a real dinosaur. Like, that's what happens in the show. So, like, that is actually terrifying.
Yeah, it could have been the show was playing with my perception of the Barney that was broken.
Like,
but I
you,
was so
like
scared.
every person that had a Barney doll, I was like, that thing is gonna come to life at night. I do not trust that.
All right. Sophia, did I get you? Yes, you talked about your
Yeah,
West
I did
Coast
think of another
experience.
one though.
Oh, go for
the
it.
Starlink reminded me that when I was on my drive to Texas a couple weeks ago, we left at like 8 p.m. and got there at 6 a.m. So it was an overnight drive, and I had never like done a drive like that at night. So I was in like driving through rural Kansas, like the beginnings of Oklahoma, and there were all these windmills. And I didn't know that at night they have these red flashing lights on them.
Yes.
So I had, like, they were just like all around me. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, we're not near the airport. I don't know what that is. And like we were so, because we could see it in the distance, and we just kept getting closer. And I was like, something is happening. Like the aliens are invading. Like they've locked in where they're gonna land. Like it was freaking me out. And then we got there and we realized they were windmills.
So here's the thing. Like I have to drive across Kansas like all the time because I'm going to audit this bank or that bank, and I am bothered by the windmills.
I love the windmills during the day. I think they're cool,
no, they're these giant things. Every time I look at them, I think about the day the Earth stood still. When the giant robots came out of the spaceship. And
they do look alien, don't they?
Yeah, they are like this completely
in this landscape.
alien thing on the landscape. And so it like, I mean, I don't think that they're evil and coming to get me, but like it is.
They're futuristic.
Foreign. Yeah.
They're futuristic and they contradict the ancient landscape that's been there for millennia.
Yeah.
They also look so much bigger than
They
look
should.
big, and they are so much bigger than they look when you see
Yes.
semi trucks driving with like part of one of the
Yes.
spinning
You
things. And you're like,
Yeah.
that thing is huge, and that's part of one of the things.
Yeah,
It's-
one blade fits a giant big semi.
unbelievable.
Like just a single blade.
Yeah.
They're glorious. I like them.
I know, I love them. I think they're fantastic. But there's also something off-putting about the fact that they all spin at different speeds, or some don't spin at all.
I don't like when they're sitting still. I
Yeah,
don't like that.
yeah. It bothers my need to have symmetry. Yeah, go ahead.
It's better than like being scared of giant things that don't exist. Because I don't know if any of you, maybe some of the younger people at this table did a Ronald.
He's got to see what's going on. Yeah, no worries.
Did a Ronald Dole unit in school, but we read the BFG as a class.
Right.
I could not sleep with my freaking curtains open ever again after reading that book and listening to that, because I was scared I was going to be eaten.
So for me, it was the Vermicious Knids in the Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. That I remember, like, I had a very vivid picture in my head as a kid of what those were going to be.
Oh no, Augustus Gloop's death is like traumatizing to me because I'm claustrophobic.
Mr. LaForte.
Okay, that's
So you, like Thomas, are a man of science. So what do you think about all this who's a fudge I've been bringing up here?
well. I mean, I don't know. I don't have much to think, but like I know that definitely. Well, I don't have explanation, but definitely there is weird things, and could be whatever multiple reasons. So I don't care about the source, but definitely I believe that things that are unexplainable happens. Could be for optical illusion to who the hell knows.
Right.
But so my experience, like one that I think was interesting. So I was doing business like a long time ago for this, like it was a place that they had nursing homes. And then we get a request, say, hey, IT, we need a video footage of, like, let's say, hallway 300 from, like, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Say, okay, we get the footage, and then, we do a small check, in high speed to see if there is any event, and then we share with the requester, right? So that time the video had no audio. Like nowadays the cameras also can pick audio, right?
Right.
So in this video, like in some period there, we start seeing like an orb, but crazy. Like it's not like a spider web that just dangling a little bit. You have airflow. Could be spider web in front of the lens. No, it goes like up and right and left and right and keep like, and then done. On a mid of this footage, like after that, there was like two nurses, like passing meds and kind of going room by room. Like they do some checks from time to time. Those nurses, they both jump at the same time. Apparently, they yell and they just say, "I'm done. I'm not working this hallway tonight."
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Wow.
We've had a scary experience like this with Jamie. We had a friend with developmental disability, and he went to Topeka with another friend of ours, and they drove by a graveyard. And this friend of ours told to the driver, said, "Look at this lady over there." He's like, "What lady?" He said, "This woman right there by the grave." And he's like, "What woman? There's nobody." And he's like, "Well, she's waving at me. She's waving at us." And he was convinced that there's a woman waving at him. So
And he told his friend, he said, he put his hand on his leg and he said, "Don't worry." She said, "Everything's going to be okay, buddy. Don't worry. It's going to be okay."
yeah, he told us this story, and the next day the guy died.
He passed
He
away.
passed away in his shower.
passed away
He
in
was
the
young, I
shower.
think his 30s, and he had a seizure and died.
And our
Yeah.
friend that was driving left the
Yeah.
country, and he was gone for a month, and he didn't know that the gentleman had passed away.
Yeah.
And he came back a month later and had learned that he had passed away, and he shared that story with us.
And that was a
the
goosebump time.
The day
Goodness.
before he
Scary
had passed
shit.
away, that he was at the lady in the graveyard told him that everything was going to be okay and not to worry.
Yeah.
The day before he passed away, and he was so adamant. She's there. She's right there. She's telling me everything's going to be okay. Don't worry.
Oh, no, I did get you already, Sophia. I got Jamie. I think that's everybody.
It's everybody,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then that's the perfect lead into the next question. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh, good segue there. Yeah. Horror movie. Who wants to start this? I'm sure everybody has favorite. With me, I think the first Alien was my favorite, Ridley Scott's Alien. And I think the reason is, there's several reasons, but one of them is you never really saw the monster. It came out of the shadows. It's like the lighting was a character in this movie. The light and the shadows, and they would like breathe in and breathe out the monster, but you couldn't really see all the elements of the monstrosity that was hunting them. And also the fact that you didn't know what the heck was going on. The bursting out of the chest was such a surprise. Nobody expected this. There was an element of surprise that was like nothing else. And then the soundtrack, I discovered later on that most of the soundtrack was this industrial rumbling. And this was freaking unnerving. It just put you on edge from beginning to end. It was just this sound, machinery, like an old factory, something rusting, like cogwheels spinning, and it kind of started grinding on your nerves, and it put you on edge from beginning to end. I think I've watched this movie many times. It hasn't aged very gracefully, especially the technology that they're using there, but I believe it was a masterpiece. And the other one is The Thing, the John Carpenter The Thing.
gonna say that.
Oh, sorry, I took it away.
No, please go.
Yeah, no, for a lot of the same reasons, and there was no resolution. By the way, you didn't really figure out what the heck was going on, and that's part of the. When everything is explained in detail, it takes away from the horror.
I agree.
You know, yeah, that's me.
All right. Thomas?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was also one of the ones I was going to mention was going to be John Carpenter's The Thing.
Am I gonna have to spend the rest of this podcast tied to a fucking couch?
Uh,
Fucking love that movie, man.
my dad had brought it up with me saying, you would like this movie. Your mother and sister would not like this movie, but you would like this movie. And he was saying, it was made in the 80s, but the special effects are still some of the best I've ever seen.
Right.
And I at the time, it was one of those things where, okay, Dad, for you, probably
Maybe,
so,
maybe.
but,
Right,
I've played a lot of video games, seen a lot of movies. Maybe this is, just one of those dad-isms type things. And then we watched it together, and he was not wrong. It was unbelievable how real the special effects looked, especially considering when it was made. I mean, if that would have been made today, I think no one would say, wow, those are... those are bad special effects. They'd be like, they wouldn't say anything about it. It would be assumed that was what they had done.
It's because it's all in front of you. Like, everything that they were interacting with was all actually in front of them.
Right.
Which is why it's scary. It's, like, all practical and amazing.
Yeah, incredibly eerie movie. And then the other two I would say quickly would be Smile, which came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that movie is
I am
so
afraid
give
to
any
watch
spoilers.
this.
So this movie, the
So
trailer
creepy.
was good. The movie was also very good. And and I think what made that movie really good for me is that whoever was in charge of the cinematography, I'm not a movie buff. I watch movies and I usually like them, but they did a lot of stuff with camera angles and putting you in a camera angle, either very close profile, upfront face of someone, or different like spins of the camera and panning different ways. That was abnormal to any other movie I'd seen.
So
And it immediately makes you uncomfortable, kind of like in a quiet place where there's no sound and you're like you're holding your breath waiting for sound because you need that, and so you're really uncomfortable by those camera angles. And then one that is maybe less known is Oculus.
Oh my God!
I haven't seen this one.
I want to say it came out mid to early 2010s.
I don't even like
is it
supernatural
virtual
horror films,
reality
but I
thing?
love the fuck
It has
out
to
of
do
Oculus.
with a mirror.
Yes.
I won't give too much away, but
Yeah.
I really liked that one because a lot of the problem with horror movies for me is that once there is something like a plot hole that is glaring,
You can't.
I can't forget about it. It loses that element of reality to me, and I'm like, well, okay, but this still happened. Right. And that movie was airtight to me, at least the first time I watched it.
Right.
And it built itself for jump scares, but there were only a handful. It didn't overdo it, and so you're on the edge of your seat waiting to be scared, and it just leads you on and on and on. And then when it happens, you've almost come to the point where you think, okay, this isn't going to happen,
Right.
and you're jumping back in your seat. So Oculus and Smile, I slept with the lights on afterwards.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! The
It's
trailer
terrifying.
scared me so much.
It's so
I didn't
scary.
watch it. That's how much it creeped me out.
It's so
and you're
uncomfortable.
right.
Very
Something about the
uncomfortable.
eccentric camera angles too is very unnerving. You described it so well, but just by watching the trailer, I was like, God, man, I don't know if I want to watch this. Yeah.
I would recommend, but with a buddy.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable, but oh my God, it's so good.
Mr. Lafort.
Oh man, it's so many. I think like when I was like young, like one that really caught my attention and stay with me. I think it was Poltergeist.
Yes.
Movie
Poltergeist is a
kind
classic. Yeah.
of shake me up a little bit.
You moved the gravestones,
Then,
but
you
you
know-
didn't move the bodies.
Shining. The one that Ivo Ivanov, I can't tell how many DVDs I bought it and I give to every friend. Say, you gotta watch this. You gotta know what I'm gonna say. No, let the right one in.
Oh God, that was so good.
And probably if you
So
go back,
good.
if you go back on podcast, I think I say the same thing for the last 3 years if I was present
My
here.
brain
But
is just
yes,
horror movie quotes.
that story is phenomenal,
Phenomenal.
beautiful, well made, and I'm happy also they did I don't know if you had a chance to see the TV show that they kind of stretched the story.
Yes,
I think
yes.
it was fairly decent to like
Yeah.
give a different like forking, not the same,
Yeah.
but they kind of carry on that thing about the child vampire.
I'm so glad you brought that up, the Let the Right One In, because I forgot about this. And it was so good because of the reality effect. This director uses, just like Tarkovsky, your favorite director, uses slow frames for a long time. He lingers on the same frame for a little bit too long. And this creates this reality effect that draws you in and makes it more real. So he would give us winter landscape. Urban winter
It's
landscape.
like in Sweden,
but
right?
it will just keep lingering a little too long, like
Yep.
a building, and it draws you in. And then
feel the
there's
cold,
no
yeah.
soundtrack in this movie. There's no soundtrack.
Very quiet.
And then it just becomes more real, and the horror, the gore, the stuff that happens, is kind of matter of factly.
Yeah.
You know, it just happens and we move on, and they don't linger on it, and it makes it more effective. I love this movie. It's really, and the girl is just spectacular. The
Phenomenal.
actress, man.
Yep.
The scene where the vampire tells the girl that she has to be let into the house, she has to be invited, and she says, "Come in without being invited." And the vampire walks in, and you just watch the vampire start to bleed.
Yes.
Like, and there's no sound. It's just a great movie. So yeah.
And also, I mean, you gotta celebrate. Like, I mean, I'm awful with names. Like Jordan Peele. I mean, every movie.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he keeps going because I mean, it was kind of
Jordan
revival, super high quality, and he put the all the goods and the best and keep. Like,
we go in the movie theater with Lou to watch his new movies because
Yeah.
they are an event for us, not just because of the horror, but because of the cerebral component.
Yeah.
So we have to think and process it and analyze it afterwards and figure out the messages because there's economic messages.
Social relevant,
yeah.
So, by the way, as we were talking, if you guys remember the beginning of Get Out when the black
That's our
dude
walks.
is walking through this dark suburban neighborhood,
Hey,
that's our
That's
walk.
our
That's our walk.
even as a white person, I'm uncomfortable.
He's living with me and Jamie right now,
Yes.
and we take a walk every night, and it's fucking abandoned. This suburban neighborhood is completely deserted, and it's kind of fucking scary.
It
Yeah.
really is.
You have these like
and
opulent houses.
that are just dead. Like there's no light, there's no movement, and like it's dark. It is pitch
That's
black.
creepy.
Yeah.
It's just like Get Out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Alena, do you have? I think I know which your favorite one is. Is it The Cube, maybe?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
The Cube
The
is
Cube
great.
is unparalleled.
The Cube is great.
The Cube is unparalleled. The Cube is so incredible. It is the best low budget film
It's
ever
incredible.
made.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
They made it in one room, and they made one room look like 180 different rooms.
Yes, it was genius.
Yeah.
This movie was genius. And again, it had a message, a very clever message, but it was frightening.
It's almost like Sartre's No Exit, but like they have,
Existentialism.
yeah, but they have more. It's not just that they dislike each other. They have a directive, like they have to try to get out of that together.
Yeah.
Or they can
This
decide
movie might
it's
be
one
genius.
each man for
That
themselves.
movie
So.
is genius.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so good.
yeah.
The
All right.
sequel can fuck right off.
No.
Yeah.
Cube Squared
it's
is
all
still good. Still good.
Nah.
Sophia.
I was gonna say the Jordan Peele trilogy. I really like.
Which one? The
No.
Jordan Peele trilogy.
Oh,
all
yes.
three of them.
Get Out, Us, and Nope.
yeah,
Nope
I think-
is the best film.
I think Nope is the most fun. Like in terms of like
Action.
movie enjoyment,
Yeah.
like it's a fun.
I think that one
it
is,
feels
like,
less
his
horror to
masterpiece.
me than the other two, but it's still really fun. I recently saw Long Legs in theater, and I actually
long legs.
I really liked it.
Nick Cage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
But like, it doesn't look like Nick Cage. It's so great.
I really loved the first half. I thought the first half was spectacular. The second half really fell flat for me because I'm just not big on blaming everything on the devil. I think that's much less scary than having a real person be that
I was
scary.
so disappointed that that's
Yeah.
what it turned out to be.
But I think what was that actress's name? Micah. I can't remember her name.
She
but
was good.
The main girl. I thought she was really great. And I really thought that like the really unsettling vibe of that first half of the film was really, really good. So that was fun, and so I just choose to pretend like the ending didn't happen because that was such bullshit. That, like,
The supernatural component.
It
We
pissed
didn't
me
see that
off.
coming. Yeah.
'Cause the thing
we
I-
watched it together.
like the thing I love the most in films like that, like horror films, is I like when the fear is like something real, you know, like when it's aliens and shit. I'm just or if it's like ghosts, like I don't personally believe in that kind of stuff, so it's kind of just falls flat for me, and I don't get as scared. Like besides the cheap like jump scare moments, so I really like that kind of psychological horror stuff because I mean also I'm like a psych major, so like I'm really like I think it's really interesting like how humans like the limits that they can push themselves to, and I think it's much scarier to have like a person be doing that than it be the devil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also recently watched the series Haunting of Bly Manor. That was really fun. I thought that was pretty good. It was
I prefer Hill House, but it was still pretty good.
yeah. I hadn't seen that. I'd only seen Bly Manor.
Watch Hill House and you'll know what
Yeah,
I mean.
I plan to, but
Hill House
I
is
surprisingly
better.
really liked it. I didn't think I was going to, but it was fun.
Miss Jamie, what do you think about horror movies?
I don't think about horror movies. I just don't watch them.
I
I'm
dragged
sorry.
you once or twice to horror movies. Poor Jamie. I dragged her years ago to The Ring. And it scared the crap out of both of us.
Yeah.
We didn't watch videotapes for a while. After
Right.
that.
Yeah, I don't like to be scared. I'm a little bit like Lauren. I have like this like fight, not flight response. I might have attacked an unsuspecting gentleman in a haunted house once when he attacked my mother. I might have bit him, and he might have needed stitches when I was a child. And so I don't go to haunted
Don't
houses.
don't
I
scare
don't
Jamie
go
or
to horror
Lauren.
movies. I think alien movies are the devil. It's just best not to frighten yourself or be frightened. It's silly. It's silliness.
I like getting frightened.
Me too.
In like a safe space of the comfort of your home or a movie
And
theater.
so
With
we're
friends,
not
yeah.
quite
Eating
sure where
popcorn.
the strong man went. We're not talking about
The
it.
strong man
Don't
from the
walk
circus.
down the
You'll have to let us
street
know if you
in
see him
my
again.
neighborhood. Yeah.
All right, so we got one from Alena. How about you, Miss Lauren?
Okay, I'm like the exact opposite. I might be like fight, but I fucking love horror movies. They are my favorite thing in the goddamn world. I love them. For
we
me,
love them
like
too.
favorite is so hard to pick because I'm like, am I going by movies that are actually considered good, or the absolutely ridiculous genre slop that I
Campy,
fucking
yeah.
love?
Yeah.
Like Sleepaway Camp, Basket Case, like all of that shit. I love that.
But do you like the torture porn stuff that's gory?
I love Saw.
I don't like
I like
gore.
Saw.
You do? Did you see Saw?
Yeah,
You saw how many times did you see Saw?
I've seen every single Saw.
I
film.
didn't see Saw. Did you see Saw? I've seen Saw. I saw Saw.
Evo, I love
I
you.
just got it.
Wow.
That took me a minute. Fuck. God damn it. But no, I've seen every single Saw movie. I fucking
How
love
many?
them.
So
How
you
many
saw
was
Saw?
released
She
so far?
saw lots.
I saw Saw too.
There's 10,
Upper
They're
10,
so
right?
gross.
Yeah.
The Saw movies are so disgusting. I can't.
but they're
And
oh, like,
Hostel. Oh God, I can't stand the Hostel.
No,
Hostel.
Hostel
Like
makes me viscerally uncomfortable.
Oh,
but
God.
I like Saw because I love behind the scenes shit, and I love seeing how they do things. And that's also why I love horror films. Is I just love seeing like the behind the scenes stuff of how they're able to do things.
Yeah.
Like how they're able to achieve certain effects. It's also why when in horror films I cannot fucking stand CG. Because yeah, it's a computer. I'm not impressed by that. I am much more impressed by a physical thing being in front of it. And that's not to say like CG can't be well used. Like in Nope, the creature is fully CG, but it's so convincing it looks like it's there. Like it could be there and I would 100% believe it. It like they fully act like it's there.
Right.
And like the way it was supported in the world around it made it feel like it was there. Whereas I feel like a lot of things don't even try.
All right, so I'm gonna go give my top choices really quick. So I have movies that I'm scared by and movies that I'm disturbed by. So the movies that I'm scared by can all be put into one basket, and that basket would be labeled movies Evo has introduced me to. Like all of the Japanese and Korean horror stuff.
Yep.
That is
The Grudge, Ringu, yes.
horrible.
The Audition.
Yes, yes.
Have
all
you
of that
seen
stuff.
The Audition?
no, it's
Have you seen
horrible.
House?
No, I haven't seen House.
Oh my god, a piano eats somebody. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
It's so good.
But then there are movies that disturb me. Like one of the most disturbing movies of all time is because I never thought that this was a supernatural movie. Blair Witch.
Oh, yeah.
When I watched Blair Witch, I'm watching the movie thinking, those two guys just want to kill that woman. Like
No,
that's the
that's exactly what I
whole
thought.
thing was about. And that, for whatever reason, was way more disturbing than the idea that there was some witch running around in the forest. So, and there's a lot of things that, like, if I watch them and just sit and think about them, they disturb me. And those are probably the ones that are much more impactful for
You ever
me.
seen
Yeah.
Creep?
No, I don't think I have.
That one's wild.
Yeah, like there's this movie called oh crap! It's about these two guys that just come into this family's house and just start terrorizing the family. I think it's like Funny Games. I think that might be the name. of
That's
it.
right. That's
Yeah,
awful.
I've seen it.
I can't like that.
That's
disturbing.
disturbing.
That
Disturbs me.
sounds
Yeah.
nauseating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the ones that bother
That's-
me.
yeah.
So,
It's interesting to think about like what goes into making a good horror movie, because I feel like making any kind of movie would be hard, but making a good horror movie that's not gimmicky, that's not, full of holes or, laughable in certain areas, but is truly frightening from start to finish. I think it's might be more challenging than a lot of other genres.
The writing is very important.
Even with campy horror films, like, there has to, like, for me to enjoy it, it has to have an earnestness to it. Like, they were genuinely trying to make a good horror film, and, like, stuff just felt weird. Like, the acting was weird, or, like, some other stuff was weird. Like, Sleepaway Camp felt like an earnest attempt to make a really good horror film. However, it is hilariously campy and amazing. It also has one of, like, for me, the most disturbing kills I've ever seen in a movie. And it's fully done in silhouette, which is also proof you don't need gore to make something scary, because holy fuck, the way that girl died scared the shit out of me.
Using, like, the other senses, like the soundtrack or lack thereof, I think can be big, or like we were talking about camera
Oh, no,
angles,
she doesn't
or
even-
like
she doesn't even scream.
that one movie you mentioned about the like camera panning too long, like making you uncomfortable and going outside of the norm. It sets you back a little bit.
It's incredible. So if for our one listener, you can take all of the movies that we have written down and like enjoy a movie a day until Halloween gets here. So all right, we are actually coming up on an hour, and I do believe that Evo has been in contact with Susan.
Susan.
Yay!
Susan is back, our marketing director and lone member of the marketing department. Is back, and she has apparently secured a sponsor. She has sent me something. We've actually had Susan has actually slowly defrosted from a mandatory cryogenic suspended animation, because this is something we have to do with Susan.
She just works too hard.
Well, it saves us money, and our sanity.
Right.
More importantly, see, when she's sleeping in a vat of liquid nitrogen, she requires less nutrients and methamphetamines. Right. So, but she has awakened, to our surprise and against our wishes, and has secured a sponsorship for today's podcast. And so let me see what kind of disastrous endorsement we will have to deal with today. Oh, okay. It's a sponsor that we've had before. It's Angry Walter. I don't know if you remember Angry Walter.
Angry Walter.
Oh, yeah.
He has sponsored us before. Fernando remembers him actually more than once, I believe. He's uniquely unqualified to be a sponsor. Since the last time he endorsed us, we actually had to pay thousands of dollars in fines and criminal court expenses. So, see, he's always angry about something. That's his shtick, Angry Walter. He's always grumpy, always grouchy. He's a good old enemy of our podcast. So today his message is coming to us, and I gotta tell this to Thomas because he's not familiar. Our finance department is struggling, and we basically are not funded. So our fax machine has stopped working. We can't get any more endorsements by fax. Our answering machine is broken. So we always get like some kind of extravagant delivery system for our endorsements. So today it's coming to us courtesy of a wounded carrier pigeon. And, the carrier pigeon has walked here due to a right-wing disability. Incidentally, that's the disease.
Disability.
Incidentally, that's the disease that has crippled our House of Representatives. Thomas, not mostly, all of us are kind of progressive here. But Angry Walter, I'm with the right people. I'm afraid Angry Walter is a little bit to the right.
He's probably to the right of all of us,
The pigeon has memorized Angry Walter's message and will deliver it in his own voice. So let's see what Angry Walter is angry about today. Here comes the message. Hello, malodorous podcasting excrements. What am I angry about? I am not angry, maggotly bitches. I am furious about fucking grocery stores. I've had enough. I said enough already! There isn't a single redeemable thing about the grocery stores in that god-awful cloaca you call Lawrence. Where should I start? How about the shopping carts? I hate them! I hate them. I hate them. Hey, assholes. It's been 92 years since humanity divided the nucleus of an atom. How come then fucking Hy-Vee can't figure out how to divide the shopping carts from one another? They're not just stuck, they're fucking welded! Fused and crazy glued together like crazy to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why do I have to perform fucking Siamese twin separation surgery every time I try to build a simple shopping cart? Those fucking carts have a multi-level locking mechanism. Fuck you, Hy-Vee. I'm trying to buy lettuce, not to crack a Wells Fargo safe. I have arthritis from trying to pry those carts away as gobblers. God, how mouse to that game you
Fernley's, oh wow.
And speaking of cards, how about those cards for kids? They're pimped out like actual cars, fire trucks, etc. So your little turd cutters can pretend they're actually driving a vehicle inside the store. First of all, those kids are awful in every way. I hate them! And secondly, these cars are huge! I didn't come to Dillon's to experience a traffic fucking jam, you assholes! There was a kid spinning the steering wheel and making NASCAR noises on a shopping cart that looked like a double-seater Edge H1 Hummer. And he was blocking the entire dairy section! If I was the kind of guy who wants to watch NASCAR, I'd go to the racetrack and stab myself there.
Making a left turn.
Right now, I just want eggs, bitches.
Yeah.
Oh! The little fucker just drove his SUV over my left toe! Fuck you! You want to race? You want a checkered flag? Well, take your little hillbilly sphincter to Checkers! And don't come back, you vile lint licker! Also, why are there only 7 people in the store? And they're expertly blocking with their carts the only 7 items I came to buy! Why? How? How do you do it? You satanic fart noodles! Why are you standing in front of all the items I'm buying and checking your Instagram with one hand while scratching your ass with the other? Do you have my shopping list? Is your purpose in life just to fuck with me? Why? I hate you with every cell of my being and all the cells of the bodies of my next incarnations. I hate you. And how in the world Dillon's always reduces by 50% the price of only the one product I just bought at another store at full price? What the actual stork flying fuck? How is this even possible every time? Do you have fucking network of agents following me around with walkie-talkies? Breaker, breaker, Angry Walter just bought 2%er Maple Hill, full price paid. Catch you on the flip-flop, over. 10-4, roger that. Angry Drifter has landed at Dillon's, reducing by 50% the 2% milk, Maple Hill brand, over and out. Fuck you! And your CB radio sheep humpers.
I can't breathe.
Oh, and don't start me on the self-checkout registers. Hello, valued customer. Place your scanned item on the bagging area. I did, motherfucker! Take your item out of the bagging area. I did, motherfucker! Now scan it again and place it back in the bagging area. I did that too, you serial motherfucker! You have failed our grocery insanity test. It is time to make a vociferous announcement over the intercom that you are an imbecile. Help is on its way. Our incompetent associate will be with you in 20 minutes to punch in a random code that doesn't work. Thank you, valued customer. I'm gonna rip your arch fucking intelligence out of your smug register and shove it right up your credit card slot, you stool slurping robot! I hate you! Speaking of stool, how about them grocery store toilets? The Bermuda Triangles of Kansas! Once you go in, you never come out! Those haven't been cleaned since the French fucking Revolution. And who in the fuck goes in the bathroom like this? Jackson Pollock. I'd rather shart on aisle 4 than use that restroom. And speaking of sharting, let's talk about what really matters. Grocery store sushi. You are in Kansas, 2,000 miles from an ocean and 6,000 miles from Japan. Well, if some raw fish sashimi makes sense to you, then you should be put in a straitjacket and chained to Elon Musk. Look at me. I'm at a moldy grocery building, surrounded by an ocean of corn and wheat, and I am salivating over decaying fish carcass, being wrapped up in a greenish rice by a sweaty, fired nursing assistant.
That felt like a personal attack.
Why you should never eat grocery store sushi? For the same reason you should never shake Lauren Bobert's hand.
Fucking damn it.
As a fickle matter of fact, grocery store sushi is the reason there is salmon in Salmonella.
Wow.
Oh, yes. And let's not forget the
We
most
just heard-
important topic. Remember this sweet question, paper or plastic? And I always answered, sweet, sweet plastic. Because paper bags suck nads. They are hard to carry. They crumple, get wet, fall apart. Basically, much worse than plastic. But no, our liberal effing town of Lawrence, Kansas decided to ban plastic grocery bags because by doing so, it will save the oceans. No more plastic bag in Lawrence, no more dead seals and microplastic in the water, right? What a noble, beautiful, enlightening decision. Greta Thunberg herself might mention us in her blog. Well, I went to the grocery store and bought a few items today. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh no.
Cream. Plastic. Pop. Plastic. Dish soap. Plastic. Window cleaner. Plastic. Cottage cheese. Plastic. Fucking. Oh, look. Hummus. Plastic. Vegetables, plastic. Fucking pizza, look at the plastic on the pizza. Oh, barbecue sauce, plastic. Fuck you, mustard, plastic. Freaking vinegar, plastic. Why is there so much fucking plastic? Oil, plastic. Oh, honey, the food that never ages. Popcorn, plastic. Pretzels, plastic. Tortillas, plastic. Freaking sausages, plastic. Gummy bears, plastic. Sunflower seeds, plastic. Cottage cheese, oh, string cheese, plastic. Oh, candy, there's more plastic. Cucumber, fucking plastic. Look at this cheese, is plastic. Oh, pistachios, plastic. Oh, and guess what? Water itself. The water we're gonna save. Wrapped in plastic. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Oh, wait. There's more. Strawberries, plastic. Fucking grapes, plastic. Croissants, plastic. Toilet paper, plastic. plastic.
Oh my God, Dad. How many
Red
plastics?
Paper towels, plastic.
It's all plastic.
Orange juice,
I
plastic.
noticed it.
Salad, plastic. Onions, plastic. Mushrooms, plastic. Not to worry, guys. So I found an item that was wrapped in paper. The oceans will be saved. It's gonna be okay. Look at this! Look at this! I found it! Oh my God! It's plastic bags wrapped up in paper. We are saved! Saved!
God.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, you failed, crotch munchers! You banned the wrong plastic. How about banning Nicole Kidman? She has more plastic in her face than the Atlantic fucking Ocean. Or at least ban the plastic. Oh no, ban! She killed the Beatles, assholes. Leave my plastic grocery bags alone, you asshole. That's it. I'm done. Wednesday Night at Race. Over and out.
Wow. Thanks, Walter.
All right.
Henry Walter was in rare form today.
He was. I'm just gonna. I'm going to apologize to the National Broadcasting Association right now for the god awful cloaca you called Lawrence, turd cutters, lint lickers, fart noodles, sheep huggers, stool slurping robots, shark on aisle 4, and somebody had to apologize for Angry Walter. So, all right. Well, this has been another episode of Wednesday Night Undressed. I want to thank everybody individually. I want to say thank you to Lauren, to Alena, to Jamie, to Sofia, to Fernando. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Angry Walter. Thank you, Evo. I have been Louis Walton, your host, and we'll see you next time.